the fifth race of the 2018 AARO AMP Energy Racing Series season would be held at the Darlington Raceway for the Armor All 200, somewhere outside of the town of Darlington, South Carolina. Should be another good race. However, some drivers were having issues with the outside lane and being able to keep it off the wall. Tommy Richer would not have to deal with this as he started the race on the pole. Green flag is in the air. Outside of him is points leader Jonathan Ringer. Jerry Richardson, Alex Yates, and Ashton Short round out the top five. Richer already off to a torrid start. As we've got Michael Carter in the back of the field here with Cody Lochner and Kane Dwyer. Carter and Dwyer were both put to the back of the field after Miami. Carter didn't realize the whole situation down in turn number one as he was doing the burnouts. And Kane Dwyer obviously piled into that wreck at the end and had a spotter fired for it. Carson Crompton in car number 84 is okay, was checked and released, thankfully, from the hospital. And alongside him was Tyler Diefer on the 20 car, and Barry Juveno had a little bit of a run-in in practice from some events that transpired in Miami. They were both fined an undisclosed amount of money, and that issue seems to be resolved somewhat, at least in the officials' eyes. Nate Smith in car number 83 was also okay, thankfully, after the scary collision that he and his teammate had. He would be running around the top 15 range. As points leader Jonathan Ringer makes a move underneath the two of Tommy Richer. A little bit of roughhousing there, I guess, between the 36 and the 2. Not sure what that was about, but Ringer goes to the lead. Ashton Short follows up into second. Christopher Morissette running inside the top 10, decides to give himself a little bit of a Darlington stripe there. Pounds the outside wall out of turn number 4. No harm, no foul, it seems, though. And a few laps after Ringer took the lead, we've got Ashton Short trying to make a move in car number 19. Unable to do so currently. And this is going to allow Alex Yates in car number 1 to seize the opportunity to take the second position for himself. And he would do so. Zach McRae in car number 5, out of turn number 4, pounds the wall. This is going to allow Clyde Lattinger to sneak by for, I believe that was the 9th spot. As, big contact with the wall for Seth McGuire in car number 6. We've got Ike Durbin riding the wall here. Obviously, cars on the outside, either the drivers are misjudging where they're going to be on corner exit, or something is up with the tires. Has Tyler Diefer in car number 20 making a run for second, unable to do so. Sean Glossom in car number 9, a former winner of this race, is going to take third after Diefer pounds the wall. And the 19 and the 83 are going to follow suit in going around him. So a little bit concerned about some of these drivers and how they'll be able to run towards the end of this one. Ashton Short now took the outside line out of turn number 2 right there and pounded the outside wall. Clyde Lattinger going by in the 34 car. So this certainly can't be beneficial to their car's longevity in this race. As Jonathan Ringer hits the outside wall from the lead, Alex Yates is going to go by in car number 1 and take the lead of the race for himself, capitalizing on his opponent's mistakes. Tyler Diefer again into the outside wall here. Lattinger and now Ashton Short are going to blow right on by him, so maybe the handling is going on car number 20 already. Maybe they missed something in the initial setup. We're not sure, but Sean Glossom peeking underneath his teammate, and he smacks the outside wall, and that is going to allow Glossom to go through and take over second place. Nate Smith follows the 9 car through to third, as Bjorn Brewer in car number 93 has some sort of problem. Might be tire, might be electrical, not sure, but he was running around 31st, 32nd place. So not a good day for the Porter Racing Corporation cars. Ringer and Lattinger with some contact there. That could have been a rather large wreck. Had Short and Diefer piled in there, but luckily they managed to keep it going. No real harm done, as Sean Glossom becomes another victim of the turn 2 wall. And Nate Smith is going to go through to take over second place. Doesn't look to be too serious for Glossom, as Bjorn Brewer coming out here on lap number 35, as looks like whatever problem they had was pretty easily resolved for car number 93, but he would be several laps down as a result. As we've got, contact between Carter and I believe that's Aaron Gallagher in the 89 car. And some pretty significant right side and rear end damage to that 89 machine. And that was a battle for position. So it doesn't look to be too serious, but other than cosmetics. So we've got Nicholas Hierski pounding the outside wall. Jalen Scranton runs into the back of him and spins out. That is going to draw our first caution here on lap number 45. Let's take a replay. Morissette getting into the wall there. And that was not a very good angle. Bo Phillips, Scranton's teammate, getting a slight piece of that one as we look at it from the chase camera. As not really much that Scranton could have done, or Phillips, really. He didn't have anywhere to go. But no harm, no foul, it seems. Again, just another cosmetic thing, as we have pit stops underneath this caution. As the pace car being the only one to stay out. Alex Yates is going to lead the field out. Nate Smith second out. Tommy Richer third. Grant Jacobs on some strategy gets out fourth, and Jerry Richson in the Jerry Richson Motorsports number 54 comes out in fifth, and Jonathan Ringer with a lengthy stop to fix that right side damage on his car, and he'll come out right, I believe, behind his teammate Sean Glossom, car number 9, as Yates leads the field for the restart here on lap number 50 with Bjorn Brewer to his inside. Didn't get the best of restarts, but that will allow the one car to put some distance between himself and the 83. Tommy Richer, though, would get around Nate Smith and eventually around Alex Yates in car number 1. Keith Jesse in the Silver Green Racing 32, their fourth car, up in second place now. Barry Juveno in the 77 would go underneath Chad Lipinski to take over third place. Juveno's been on the rise pretty much since the beginning of the race, and looks like he's trying to put that whole drama between himself and Tyler Deefer behind him, as he takes over second place in that shot. We've got Carson Crompton and Cody Lochner about to be side by side here. This might end in tears heading into turn number 1. So far, so good. It looks like Crompton might just go past and might be focused on the position he's in. He'll be the better driver here and decide instead of this rivalry continuing on to try and focus on the race at hand. Kane Dwyer in car number 10 is now inside the top 5 after starting dead last in this race. We've got Keith Davis in car number 06, who has fallen way off the pace for not way off the pace, but fallen out of touch with the rest of the field for one reason or another. Going a lap down here as he graciously gives the inside line to the leaders and allows them to pass. Barry Juveno taking advantage of Tommy Richer grazing the outside wall there. The 77 is going to peek to the inside and take the lead of the race for himself. Barry Juveno, the Ohio native, not exactly had the most successful of AARS tenures, but he's been around the series for a few years, and now looks to be the time when he might start seeing some real fruits of success, as Jerry Richardson and Tommy Richer got together entering turn number 1. And I guess Karmic Retribution decided to strike the 54. The racing gods just really didn't like that move, as Jerry Richardson here exiting the pits would eventually get back out. This would allow him to kind of alter his strategy, but he would be off the lead lap as a result. But depending on how this plays out, this might work in Richardson's favor. He just doesn't need a caution to happen pretty much the rest of the way. As you can see, the faster tires, he roughs up Juveno a little bit. Not sure what that was about, but Richardson on the faster tires than everybody else might be able to make up some ground here. And again, it's all dependent on how the rest of the race plays out, but this might work in Jerry's favor. As we've got Kane Dwyer in car number 10 taking second place, from Barry Juveno. Ashton Short to the lead of the race in car number 19. However, Dwyer's going to peek to the inside of him and go past here on lap number 84. Or at least he tries to, as Ashton Short rebelling on the outside line. However, a couple laps later, Short decides to make that right side of his car into a pancake and drop down into the 4th spot and possibly put himself in position for Alex Yates to capitalize, and there you go. And now he decides to drop to 6th and 7th. Continuing to hit the right side of the wall, as Tyler Deefer showed earlier, is not exactly the best of ways to get yourself a good finish. Barry Juvenile finds that out. He drops to 2nd from Alex Yates going around him on the inside. As Tommy Richard in car number 2 gets into the wall. Contact between himself and Kent Grosso. That could have been a dangerous situation, much like Carter's little run-in earlier. And so Nate Smith's on the inside of Richard. Richard smacks the wall. Grosso is there. Not really much he could have done. No harm. Once again, no harm, no foul. Just some cosmetic stuff. Kane Dwyer again deciding to pancake the wall. Not a good strategy there, as he drops down into 3rd now. Carson Crompton up into 2nd. He's in contention for this victory after his scary ride last week. As we've got green flag pit stops here on lap number 110. Alex Yates ducking into the pits, focused on Grant Jacobs, as he has several cars around him who also decide to pit this lap. Lochner and Dwyer there in the pits, you saw. Ringer is in the pits, and the lights are on the pace car. We have an incident on track. So that is going to shake things up. That is not what Jerry Richardson in the 54 car wanted to see. And let's see what happened here. Cash smacks the wall, gets into Tyler Deefer. This time, 2 cars involved in an incident out of turn 2 bring out a caution flag. And Deefer already had marks on the right side of that car, so I don't think he needed any more of those. Careful to everybody else as we look at Ryan Barley, how close he got to plowing into the 20 car, who was almost at a dead stop. As we've got Alex Yates trying to stay on the main track, I guess, and Valeen Click in the 53 car subbing for the suspended Greg Need. He got suspended after Miami, and Valeen Click was trying to make it into the pits, and Yates was trying to stay out on the track, and just a miscommunication led to that little incident. No harm, no foul overall. As we've got Alex Yates stuck behind several cars who were caught at the end of the lead lap as a result of that yellow flag. So this might put a wrench into things for this one car, and he's going to have to hold everyone else off. Grant Jacobs trying to fight for his lap, goes underneath the one car to try and pass and obviously make that happen, but in the process allows Carson Crompton and car number 84 to duck underneath Yates and take over the lead. Glossum follows into 2nd. And eventually Glossum here taking the lead, or has taken the lead from Crompton rather. And the 84 obviously eager to not waste time, trying to find any sort of opening to get underneath. And around the 9 car, so far not able to make it happen yet. He's going to need the help of some of these lap cars, and especially the draft down the straightaways. Maybe the aerodynamics on the 9 car might allow him to give way, as we've got pit stops later on in this event. We've got Kent Grosso on his way into the pits. Darcy Lusk from 3rd. We've got several cars who may not be able to make it the rest of the way, as we are very close on the fuel window as to who will make it and who will not. And Darcy Lusk, unfortunately from the 3rd position, decides that it is a gamble not worth taking. As we're heading through turns 3 and 4 with 2 laps to go, Glossum was off the lead lap. That was my apologies. Carson Crompton is out in front of Ashton Short by about 3 or 4 car lengths as he takes the white flag. And it looks to be clear sailing unless he sputters to some extent. Doesn't look like it. And the alleged battle for the lead here, as I just said, is not true. Carson Crompton at turn number 4 wins the Armor All 200 as he makes the fuel economy work for him. He takes the victory after such a, a terrifying ride that he had last week. I guess it's a pretty brief redemption story for him, but congratulations to ACS Racing. They finally break out after the up and down ride that their season has been so far. So Californian Carson Crompton wins here in Darlington. Zach McRae comes home in 2nd place. Jack Jefferson with possibly the quietest 3rd place run ever in 3rd. Ryan Barley in 4th. A good turnaround for the Simmons Racing squad that has struggled mightily so far this year. Clyde Lattinger coming home in 5th. Yet another top 10 for this 34 team. Jared Cash in 6th. Barry Juvenile salvages a good run, coming home in 7th place. Chad Lipinski in 8th. Finally, something goes right for Garth Enterprises. Nate Smith in car number 83 gets to watch his teammate on win, as the 83 comes home in 9th place, just ahead of defending series champion Michael Carter, who comes home in the final spot in the top 10. The points battle seems to have tightened right back up as Kane Dwyer has reclaimed the points lead with 597 in total, 13 ahead of this week's winner Carson Crompton. Jonathan Ringer with a solid finish inside the top 15, only 29 points back, jumps up to 3rd. Tyler Diefer in 4th, 36 points back. 2015 champ Michael Carter, 41 behind. Jared Cash in 6th. With another solid run for him, minus that incident with Diefer, 54 points back. Clyde Lattinger in 7th, 90 points behind, 1 point ahead of rookie Seth McGuire, 91 back. Jack Jefferson somehow up into 9th place, obviously the best of the Jerry Richmond Motorsports cars, and that team as a whole wasn't exactly expected to do the best, but it seems that Jefferson's managed to fly under the radar and provide some solid finishes, and here he is inside the top 10 in points, just ahead of Nate Smith, who is, I believe, 78. That would be 78 markers between himself and Jefferson, 176 points behind Kane Dwyer.